Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm bringing you guys a deck profile for the month of March, and this is my Mutant deck profile. So that's funny enough as it is, and I guess we'll just get straight into the deck profile. So first off, I'm playing Myutant Beast, Myutant Mist, and Myutant Arsenal, and these are just the level 8s, and they all have different attributes and types, so that's something that I'd like to point out. And they're pretty decent. I would say that Beast has a good effect that he can negate a spell. Mist has a good effect that he can draw 2 cards. And Arsenal has a good effect that he can banish a monster. Now, they are all really good. However, Arsenal has the most attack, and Mist has the most defense, and Beast is kind of low on the scales, but at the same time, all of their effects go off really hard, and the downsides of them is that they have to banish a card from your hand or field to resolve, but that's okay because they're the main point of the deck. You just want to bring out the level 8s as much as you can. And Myutant GB88 is a really good card. During your opponent's main phase, if Evolution Lab is in your field zone, you can special summon this card, and if this card is special summoned during your opponent's turn, you contribute it and banish a card and special summon from your hand or graveyard, or your banish pile or your graveyard when you're level 8s. And then ST46 is really good. He just basically says if he's normal or special summon, you can add a Myutant spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and you contribute this card, then banish 1 card, and then special summon either Beast, Mist, or Arsenal based off of the card that you banish. So they kind of all do that. The next 2 guys also do that. Mutant M5 can add a monster from your deck to your hand, Mutant monster, and then you contribute him, banish a card from your hand or field, and special summon Beast, Mist, or Arsenal based off of the card that you got rid of. And then Mutant just happens to be the special one that you're going to want to search out off of M5, and when you control a mutant monster, you can special summon this card, and then you can also tribute this card and then banish a card from your deck or hand that is either a monster, spell, or trap, and special summon Beast, Mist, or Arsenal based off of that effect. But he's just really good because you can search him out off of M5, and that's a really solid play. So using him with Emergency Teleport, M5 is actually a really good play in this deck, where you E-Tele for M5 and Mutant, and then use both of them to bring out not only 1 but 2 monsters from your deck. So you can bring out 2 of the powerful Mutant monsters, and that's really good. So this is one of the best cards in the game at this point, just because this deck dropped. And I got Myutant Fusion as the next card. Fusion summon 1 Myutant monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand or field. And if your opponent has activated a card during this turn, you can also use 1 from your graveyard and 1 from your deck, which is really OP just because it's a fusion card for your mutants and stuff. And part of your Plant Versus Anaconda is really good. So I play Myutant Evolution Lab, and when this card is activated, you can special summon 1 of your level 4 or lower Myutant monsters from your hand or that is banished. And Myutant monsters you control gain 100 attack for each of your banished Myutant cards with different names. So this card is really good, and the third effect is actually not really that important, but you're able to draw a card if you need to. Then I play 1 Myutant Blast. Equip only to a level 8 or higher Myutant monster, and if the monster battles an opponent's monster that was special summoned, you can banish that monster. Also, you can send Myutant Blast and the Myutant level 8 to the graveyard to special summon a monster with a different name out of the level 8 monsters that you have in your deck. So that's really good. And I play Harpy's Spellduster and Mystical Space Typhoon, and these are just really good cards in the meta to destroy all spell traps cards that your opponent controls, and then destroy 1 spell or trap card on the field is also really good, so you're able to just outplay your opponent that way. And it's really good because you're going to need that ratio in the meta for beating your opponent with about 2 out of 40 spell and trap cards in your deck. Dark Ruler No More is just one of the best cards in the game, like I've said in the past, and in this video again, it's just the best card in the game for eliminating all of your opponent's monsters' effects, and they're not even able to respond to it, so it's just like that good and like that powerful. So I play 1 Myutant Clash, or 2 Myutant Clash, and then this is the first of my traps, and when you activate this card, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, banish a mutant monster from your graveyard, and if you do, negate that monster's effect until the end phase of this turn. So that's only when you activate this card, but while this card is face up on the field, if you destroy a monster by battle with a level 8 or higher mutant monster, I believe, it has to be a level 8 or higher mutant monster, you can draw a card, so that's actually really super and it's good. I play 3 Myutant expansions, and when you activate this card, you can take 1 level 4 or lower mutant monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. So that's really good. It's just another really clean, good starter to get your guys on the map, and you just want to play it. Also, because its second effect is if a level 8 or higher mutant monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card you control instead, which is really decent. And then I play 1, 2, 3 copies of Myutant Cry. And during the main phase, fusion summon 1 Myutant fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the monsters back to the deck from your field, graveyard, or banish pile. So this card is really, really good, man. It's like excellent at bringing out another fusion monster during your opponent's turn, and your fusion monsters are really strong in this game, and their effects are really powerful too. So this is a really good anti-meta deck, and there can be only one is a really great trap card to have, and it fits perfectly in this deck. And I would just say that playing Solemn Judgment for the 40th card is like probably the best thing you could do. Just for a tech card, Solemn Judgment would be one of the best tech cards in the game. Each player can only control 1 monster of each type, there can only be 1. And if a player controls 2 or more monsters of the same type, they must send those monsters to the graveyard until they only control 1. So this is like one of the best floodgates of all time now, especially in a deck that just like twists it up a little bit and like makes it a lot easier to play, because like I said at the beginning, Beast, Arsenal, and Mist, or Beast, Mist, and Arsenal each have their own archetypes. So that would be the reason that there can be only one fits perfectly in this deck, and it's just like really good. So then I play my token, and I play fusion monsters in this deck. So you gotta play the main fusion combo with Ultimus and Synthesis, and when a card or effect is activated, you can banish 1 Myutant card from your graveyard or face-up field or your hand, monster, spell, or trap, and negate the card of that type. So you have to banish the same kind, but this is a good negate. And Synthesis is just a card that can destroy a card when it comes out. But they both say that when they are destroyed, you can add 1 of your banished mutant cards to your hand, and Ultimus actually says you can add 3 of your banished mutant cards. So although he's pretty hard to bring out, I would say that it's actually really easy to bring out 2 of him in one game, so that's the reason why I play 3 copies, just in case he ever gets eliminated. You probably want to play at least 2, if not 3 Ultimus, and definitely play 3 Synthesis, but if anything, you could take this card out and replace it with something a little bit better. But for now, I'm just going to play the Mutant deck. So I play 1 Relinquish Anima, Link Rebo, and Gravity Control. Gravity Controller is a good card to double control your opponent. When you have a fusion monster in the extra monster zone, you can send it for Gravity Controller. That's really decent. Link Rebo is a good defensive link 1, level 1 link 1, because sometimes your level 1 link 1 doesn't get to go off, and you just want to play Link Karibo, and Relinquish Anima is also a really good solid backup play, because you can snatch your opponent's monster, you can steal your opponent's monster. Cross Sheep and Predator Plant Verte Anaconda are both really decent cards. When you fusion summon under Cross Sheep, you can special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, which is going to be really successful in this deck. And Predator Plant Verte Anaconda is just there for the risky fusion play, and I really like that because just paying 2,000 life points, you're able to bring out your Myutant fusion directly from the deck and activate it. But other than that, you have to just realize that Predator Plant Verte Anaconda is just there for the risky fusion play. He's kind of like unimportant other than that. Nightmare Unicorn is link 3, solid link 3 for targeting and spinning a card back to your opponent's deck. Borrowcode Dragon does not target, and if he is successful, he gets to destroy all monsters in the field, so that's really awesome. But keeping that in mind, Borrowcode Dragon is decent and all, but he requires 3 monsters all having different names, I believe. Or, well, no, they just have to be 3 monsters. So they can't be a link 2 and a link 1. It has to be all links, all 3 links. But I play one Saryuja Skulldread, and honestly I would just replace this card with a topological monster because Borrowcode Dragon has a second effect that allows you to bring out a topological card. But effectively I would also consider playing Appaloosa over anything, but for now Skulldread is actually not that bad of an option. And Sanapon, the Sky Prison, I don't think you're ever going to need this card to win, but it's actually really good, and if you have 2 level 8s on the field that you don't really want or you don't really care for, you just want to overlay into this guy. And that's it for the extra deck. We're going to move on to the side deck, and without further ado, here we go. Dino Wrestler Pankratops and Nibiru the Primal Being are both really good cards to be siding in at 1 apiece, just for their effectiveness, and I would say take out Pankratops for a second Nibiru, or just play 3 Nibiru somehow, some way, but for now I would say that since this is more of an anti-meta deck, you just side these in going against like a I don't know, a stoned up matchup. You just want to play these against like a different kind of deck that doesn't really I don't know, you wouldn't want to play these against certain opponents, just to say the least. But Pankratops has 26 attack, and he can pop a card, so he's definitely amazing. And Nibiru is just the almighty rock that can blow up all cards on the field. But you wouldn't want to risk everything in this deck with Nibiru. But although I have to say that Nibiru is just like one of the best cards in the game, and you should probably consider playing it. I play 1 Ghost Spell and 3 Effect Veilers, and basically you got the Monster Negate side in, and I don't have Ash Blossoms, but I do have 1 Ghost Spell, so I feel like this is fair enough because you're just siding in like an extra ratio by adding the Ghost Spell and the Monster Effect Negates, and basically you just say negate a special summon from the graveyard. So it's pretty fair, I would say the least. I like it. Then I play 2 Skullmeisters. When a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and negate that effect. So this is a pretty good hand trap, but it's also a really good hand trap because it is a 17 beater with 17 attack, and that's really nice. It's a fiend, so it doesn't really have anything to do with the psychic archetype, and that's really good for your main focus. I play Call by the Grave, and target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, negate that monster's effect until the end of the turn, and monsters with that same original name. So yeah, this card is definitely good, and you want to play it against your opponent in the side deck mainly, as a traditional side card. You want to play 3 Regeki in the side deck and not in the main deck. I feel like this card is definitely better in the side deck compared to Dark Ruler No More, but I would play this card in the main deck. I feel like people are going crazy over this because it's really good card and it goes really, really hard, but at the same time, destroying all your opponent's monsters is the main objective, but at the same time, you have to realize that they're just monsters on the field, and they don't really, they don't really match up against Regeki, or Regeki doesn't really match up against them. You kind of have to play around your opponent's decisions in the first place. So Regeki is kind of more of a great side deck card. And Royal Prison is the only trap I play in my side deck, and it's really good because being able to replace an ineffective there can be only one is logical. You just want to replace it with something that does work against your opponent, and neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyard is something that this deck would excel at. So Royal Prison is essentially one of the best cards in the game in this deck, and honestly one of the first decks to ever do it in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So with that being said, that is the entire deck profile, and I hope you guys had a good time, and I hope you guys liked the video. Please comment and subscribe and rate my content. Without further ado, I guess I'm just going to end the video, and this is all of my stuff. I tried to make things very nice for you guys, and that's about it. I drink lemon water to stay healthy, and this is my stuff in my room, so hopefully you guys are a fan of my videos. Thank you.